Hello everybody. I just wanted to go ahead and get you your video out about your rough draft or your more information clarifying everything with your course project. With the storms and the uh, pushback of all their deadlines and all, I haven't had a really good chance to get this out to you. So let me just go ahead and do this now. Now here's your regular page, and of course your course project should be located right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shortly edit this to say course project rough draft, and then I'm going to also put an extra little tab here that's course project final draft. Okay, so please be looking for that in the near future. You will submit your rough draft right here. In the past, I had students email it to me, but I'm thinking this might be an easier way to keep everybody's work straight and give you feedback on your rough draft. Now, the rough draft will be due right here, 10/18. Okay, and you are welcome to submit it before then, and I will try and give you as much feedback as you can. But your first version of your rough draft should not be turned in any later than 10/18. Now, you may want to submit it more than once. That's absolutely fine. You should be able to edit what you submit and re-upload a new version. Just please let me know when you're doing that, so I'll be sure to look at it again, because the computer doesn't necessarily always show me exactly what's going on when you resubmit stuff. Now, when you click on this little PDF right here, I've already have it pulled up. This is what you should have been looking at for your actual course project instructions. Now, at this point in time, you should have an approved topic. If you do not have an approved topic, please be aware that it is hurting your grade. Okay, you've missed a deadline, and basically you are not keeping up with the class, so it will hurt your grade. At this point, there's real no way for, if you have not gotten your topic approved already, to make an A. You are starting out at a disadvantage, and again, if you continue to delay on your course project, it will only hurt your grade further. Now, one big thing I want to tell you about this, no matter what topic you've or have been approved for, please don't write the same paper as everyone else. And what I mean by that is don't read the Wikipedia page and just regurgitate information up. Some of you I've specifically told that to. I've had a bunch of people choose tattoos this semester, and in previous semesters I've had a lot of people do tattoos. And there has been some pretty miserable projects. I'm using this one as an example. There are tons of ways to tackle any of these topics. And tattoos, for instance, there's a lot of history behind them. There's a lot of cultural significance, religious significance. There's a lot of tabooism, not tattoo, but taboo. It was on the outskirts of gentle society, if you will. You always had the tattooed lady at the freak shows and all sorts of mess, all sorts of crazy stuff like that. So there's lots of ways to go at it. And I do want to hear some of that history about it, when it started, what cultures is it predominant in, when it was looked down upon, when it was praised, all that good stuff, because I want to know that you know it. However, I really want you to interject yourself into this project. Imagine sitting here and reading 10 or 15 projects on tattoos. It's going to get pretty boring, and I'm going to hear the same stuff over and over again. Well, you know what? Why did you pick it? What is your personal relationship to whatever your topic is? Stuff like that. Woodworking up here. Some of you that have chosen woodworking, I've already told you my master's degree is in woodworking. I mainly work on and build musical instruments, guitars, basses, all that kind of stuff. And I do furniture as well. Well, there's lots of cool things in there that I would be able to associate with my own life and stuff. My favorite musical instrument builders, stuff like that, are my favorite furniture makers. And there's lots of ways I could put myself into it. I want to hear why this topic is important to you, what you find interesting to the topic. Some of you that pick jewelry design, let's say, well, do you pick the popular jewelry designers that probably everyone has heard of, like some of the more design houses like Tiffany's or something? Or are you going to pick someone that's a little more obscure that you still like their work? Or can you tell that there's a correlation between the bigger more well-known work and these other artists, or did one of them steal stuff from the other? Because that happens too. Um, Over here, Frank Lloyd Wright, he is an amazing architect. Most of you, even if you don't know who he is off the top of your head, you have seen his work. Most notably, probably the Guggenheim Art Museum in New York City. For those of you that aren't familiar with that one off the top of your head, if you've ever watched the original Men in Black movie, when Will Smith at the very beginning is chasing the alien up the crazy long ramp in the weird building and stuff, guess what? That's the Guggenheim Art Museum. Congratulations, you now know a Frank Lloyd Wright building. Or the ones that you normally see in your history books and stuff, the pretty house on the waterfall, very creatively named Falling Water. That was Frank Lloyd Wright as well. This man had a very interesting life, folks. Let me tell you, I've researched a lot, I've read a lot on Frank Lloyd Wright. His life includes lots of ups and downs. It includes adultery, an axe murder, all sorts of craziness. Lots of really good stuff, lots of really bad stuff. Remarkable stories. And I want to hear that kind of stuff. I want to hear the stuff, other than, oh, he's just a great architect and he designed Falling Water and the Guggenheim. Well, give me some of this other stuff that I'm not going to read on his Wikipedia page. And again, put yourself into it. Why did you choose Frank Lloyd Wright? Have you been to see Frank Lloyd Wright buildings? If you haven't, while you're researching them, hey, which one really caught your attention and which one would you really love to go see? Would you like to live in one of those houses, or why not? Is there any other crazy, kooky things that you can tell me about him and your opinions on those crazy, kooky things? Again, Frank Lloyd Wright, just as an example. This man would design the house. He would design the furniture in the house. He would design where every lamp sat and every chair went. And he actually, even though people paid him to build some houses, he would go in there to visit his house. He still considered it his house, even after the owner took ownership of it. And if they moved around his furniture outside of his original plan, he would immediately begin rearranging it back because that was his design. Again, kooky guy, very interesting stories and stuff. Give me some of this stuff. That's what I want to read. Okay. Now, if there's any questions about that, please let me know. Like I said, give me some of the history, do all that good stuff, but really just, make it personal to yourself. Give me the stories and anecdotes that you find out that you really like, the things that are interesting that's not going to make your paper just like the next person that's turning in a paper on that topic. Now, that being said, I talked about regurgitating information. Do not cut and paste. If you noticed, I actually put it in bold, underline, and highlighted down here. Every single page that you submit will be ran through plagiarism software. What does that mean? That means if you cut and paste it from a website, I will find it. I actually use several versions of plagiarism software, and I have found it before several times where students have pretty much either plagiarized a whole paper or parts of it, a paragraph, something like that. I do not like that. I've given you plenty of time to work on it, and really the paper is not that long for you to have to worry about coming up with that much information. And really this paper or course project is to let you personalize it to your interest. So I'm hoping you've actually been able to pick something that is of interest to you, that you won't find it hard to look up some information and research about it. This is really your chance that no matter what I teach, you can personalize the art class to your particular interest, because everyone's going to have some sort of interest in it. No matter how little or how great. So please, you will fail, basically, if you do plagiarize your work. Okay? I hate having to do that, folks. I really do hate having to do that. Please don't put me in that situation, because I've done it before in the past, and I just hate doing it. Now, let's see, up here, some people sometimes get confused with this part right here. Just basically the format as to what everything is going to be put into. Okay, So let me move this out of the way, and I'm actually going to bring in an example that was done. This one I think was done last year. I've erased the student's name and just put student name up there, just to protect her privacy and whatnot. But this is a really good one. This one, her topic was photography. Now, again, as you can see real quick, I'll leave it up here for a second so you can kind of skim through a little bit. She is telling me about some of her past. You know, how she got started into it. 35 millimeter camera with her teacher. You know, all the stuff, how she got interested in photography. She tells me about trips to the Museum of Art and going through a photography exhibit. All this good stuff. Gives me a photographer right here, Barbara Morgan, that caught her attention. So she researches into her some and gives me some more of her background. This particular photographer I was not actually familiar with until this particular paper. So, you know, this was a good one, you know, not the, you know, not another Ansel Adams or something like that you hear about all the time. If you don't know who that is, you're welcome to research that person too. You know, then here she is even talking about looking through her old family photo albums and stuff, okay? This right here shows me that she has looked up some information. She has related the topic back to herself and everything. She's included her photography down here. She's got some of the lady's photography. I'm not going to keep going down because she has some personal photographs down there. But I also want you to notice the format. This is exactly how I say it in the instructions, okay? So let me go back up here and we will look at that a little bit. I'm going to bring this down where you can see this. Now, this is pretty much a default setting in most of your Word programs, depending on what version you have, you know. But up here, you should have Calibri, okay, which is, again, I'll pull this over here where you can kind of see what you're supposed to have. Calibri, okay, font size 11, very good. Okay, whoops, excuse me. Right here, if you look, you're supposed to have a line spacing of 1.15 with double space between paragraphs. Okay, so right here, this little symbol on this particular version of Word is right here where you'll find that. If I click the little menu here, 1.15, and you will have the space between the either before or after the paragraph, okay? If I remove this right here, let me see if I can make it work right. Well, it looks like what she did was probably double space anyway between the paragraphs, which is fine. You can hit enter twice. You can set this thing up right here where you add an extra space between them to do that. That's absolutely fine. Either way you want to do that is fine. But this is what your paper should look like. You have your heading up top. You have your title, you have your basically 1.15 spaced paragraphs, you have an extra space between them to differentiate the paragraphs. As you come down, as you can see, she has at least 2 pages. She comes a little over the 2 pages, that's fine. 2 to 4 pages is what you need to have of text. Photographs do not count. Okay, and as you can see, you will put the images right here at the end of your work. You can put as many images as you like, but remember, the pages of images will not count to your overall length. So she is very easily within the minimum of 2 pages. I don't even really have to do a word count or anything. This is a very impeccable, very well written, interesting example right here, and this is what your paper should look like. If you have pictures in between the paragraphs or pictures at the front, all sorts of stuff, it's not going to help you folks, okay? If you have some ridiculous large header up here that takes up half a page, that is not going to work either, folks. When you submit this to me, I will go in there, I will look at the settings, I will erase your images out of it, and I will see exactly how long the paper is. Okay, 2 pages is not hard at all. It could be much, much worse. Trust me. Anyone wanting to see my thesis paper that I had to write, I will show you that one. Now that was a pain. Now let's see. Images are encouraged. Place after normal margins all the way around at 1 inch. Let's see here again. You'll go to your page layout for that one. And oops, let me slide this over just a bit. Margins. Okay, normal right here. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 inch all the way around. Okay, right there's where you'll find it. And that's all you will have to worry about. Now that's your basic page setup. Okay, and then make it look like this. All right, if you have any questions specifically, if you're not using the Word program, if you're using OpenOffice or some similar word processing program, please let me know and I'll try and help you. But in general, if it looks like this, you should be good to go, folks. Okay, I'm not going to be too crazy on you as long as you follow this general format. Citations must be made in MLA format. Again, there's some pictures down here that I want to show you because they were personal pictures from the students, so I don't want to really scroll past those. But you just go to Google, type in MLA format, and you will get all sorts of websites that you basically type in your information. It'll ask you who the author is, all this other stuff. You type it in, and it will spit it back out in MLA format. It is super easy. Okay, just find you one of those websites that you understand, that you know that works good for you. I am not going to stress if there is a misplaced comma or something. I just want the information of the websites, books, articles, all that kind of stuff that you have used, and I will be checking them, okay, especially if there's an issue with plagiarism or something like that. So I do really want everything cited in MLA format, okay? If you've never done that before, like I said, it's very confusing if you try to write it out on your own, honestly, if you're not used to it. But luckily, we live in the age of internet, and it'll do it for you online. Let's see. So yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know by email. And please, some of you are still having trouble putting in your course numbers. It helps me out a lot. Just put it in the subject line or either the body of your email so I can know exactly where to go to find you if I need to look up your records for your course. Okay? All right. Thank you, folks. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.